Hey everyone, welcome to Garden Air. Today I wanted to show you how I start my Foxgloves from seed. So I was going to show you how to work out the Burpee grow kits and how to put those together, and then tell you a little about the Foxgloves that I'm planting. So I have a Burpee seed starting tray. They come with these little cocoa coir pellets, and it's really easy. You just drop one in each thing. I will put up some photos of everything on the side. And you have your watering tray and this little mat and the little stand. So we put just fill the watering tray with some water and set your little stand down in there like that. Put your seed tray in. And when you first start off your pellets, run them like under some running water and then let them sit for 5 minutes so that everything expands and is wet. I give it like 5 to 6 minutes and then it's usually all set. If you're using an old tray and you don't have the coir pellets, just use some good quality seed starting mix and fill each one with that and get it just somewhat moist, and continue using your tray as it's set up, and then it will absorb water as it's needed to keep your coir moist. So I have some different Foxglove seeds. I have one packet here that says it's a biennial. So when I plant these out this year, I'm starting these early. Today is March 12th, and I'm starting these early because this is a cold-loving plant. Usually when it gets too hot in the summer, Foxgloves tend to wilt up. They lose a lot of moisture in their leaves, and they don't like really hot, dry summers. So if you start them somewhat early, you're going to get a better display out of them. So I'm going to plant these out at different times. So being March 12th now, I can get these guys out in the ground in about 8 weeks. It'll be before my frost date, but these guys can handle it. And then I'll probably start them again. I'm looking at April 15th for my next planting of seeds. So I'll have like a succession planting of Foxgloves. And get them out nice and early so that they can do their thing. But these guys are a biennial, so all they're going to do this year is form foliage, and these won't flower until next year. However, some Foxgloves are annuals and they will flower the first year. You can see how tiny the seeds are. I have this little bowl of Foxglove seeds. I collected these right here are the seeds. It's like dust. They're really tiny. So I'm going to show you a trick on how to get these planted without getting all of the plant material mixed into your seed. And like I said, I don't know what kind of Foxgloves these were, so I don't know if I'm going to get an annual or a biennial out of these, but I'm okay with that. We'll find out as the season goes. If they don't bloom for me this year, then I'll know. So my seed starter tray is all set, everything is wet, and I saw this trick on a few other YouTube channels and some gardeners, and they say just use a toothpick, wet it down. So I keep a little bowl of water, and you can just pick up a couple of seeds on the end of your toothpick and just put them in like this, and it works. They're all in there. And I can get around all the other stuff. I can control how many seeds I'm putting into each starter tray, and it gives me a lot more control this way. That way I'm not trying to sprinkle these tiny little things with my fingers, getting way too much seed in each tray at a time. And Foxgloves are so tiny that you really don't have to cover them up. I just rest them on top of the damp planting medium, and then I leave them alone. So the other seed I'm starting today is Bachelor's Button, because this is another cold hardy annual, and these guys like it pretty cold outside as well. So you can, if you're going to direct sow these, you can actually put them in like 2 weeks before your last frost date is over, and they'll germinate just fine even if you get another frost. This is a nice tall blend mixture of different colors, so I'll expect 24 to 36 inches out of these guys. So I'll give them a nice wide area to get nice and tall. But these are so nice to have because they're drought tolerant and they're also pretty deer resistant. So they're just a great flower to build up in your beds for some color and for some just easy maintenance free kind of flowers. These guys will bloom pretty early in the season, and then once they're done, you can just kind of clear them out of the way and put something else in that tolerates the warm, hot part of the summer a little bit better. So plan on these set of cells, and I'm just going to do the same thing with the toothpicks, but I'm going to cover these ones a little bit. And this toothpick really does help. I'm able to put these seeds exactly where I want them. And I just have so much more control. I can put in how many I want a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of my 2 rows, and I'll be right back. So the other one that I was planning on starting today is Bells of Ireland. And these guys really like the cold as well. In fact, it's another one you can direct sow into the garden before your last frost date. And sometimes that's recommended. So these guys can be a little difficult to get them to germinate. So, and you don't get very many. So I think I'm only going to do 1 row of these to try some of them inside, and then the rest I'm going to save and direct sow in the garden. Maybe 2. I have enough to do 2. And these are a bigger seed, so I'll give them a light. Work best for me in the long run, and then just mark it all down in my garden calendars what worked better for me the year before. That one only had 1, so we're going to stick another one in there, and we'll see how they do. Now at this point, I have to give them a little tag, so we'll say Bells of Ireland, 1 row, and I'm cutting these short so that they don't get in the way of the dome top. And I'll have 1 extra row here, so I'll figure something else out to plan. Well, as your seeds are beginning to germinate, this is the only time that you cover your seeds with the dome top. Wait for them to germinate. Once the plants are all sprouted, then you can take your top off and move them to more light. And you don't want to fertilize seedlings. Everything is stored inside of each seed. It has, think of it like a little egg and a yolk inside of a shell. Everything that it needs is inside of there. So the little embryo has plenty of food while it's inside the seed, but also while it's germinating and beginning to grow. So you don't need to fertilize until after true leaves start developing on the actual plant. So our little tray is all set to be set to the side and begin germinating. So what I'm going to do with this is just put it in my sunroom, somewhere it can be a little on the cooler side for these ones. Other seeds you'll want to put like on a warming tray. These guys, I'm just going to set them aside. And then once they start sprouting, I'm going to leave the top off, put them in a more sunny area or under lights, and let them continue growing. Once they reach enough to have about 3 sets of true leaves, I'll do another video on what you do from that point on. And that's really it for today. So with all of that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please hit like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.